Hello and welcome to my first Blender tutorial. Today I'm going to be showing you how to create a simple flower. So we don't have to delete the default cube because I've already deleted it. We're going to add a plane um, and we're going to scale it on the y-axis by 2. No, on the x-axis, y-axis, yeah, by 2. So that was S, key S, then Y, then 2. Or S2Y, whatever you want. And so this is going to be our leaf. Uh, and I'm just going to do this in Blender internal render because it's faster. We're going to add a new material, and I'm going to add a new texture. We want this to be an image or movie, and we should go into UV editing. But first, let's actually get our texture. Which will be a leaf texture. I'm going to get it from cgtextures.com. So if we go over here to this window, you can see I'm already at cgtextures.com, and this is just showing you the site and stuff. We're going to go to nature down in this tab right here, then down to leaves. So here we have a bunch of different leaves, and let's see, let's choose one. Let's just use this one. Yeah, we can use this one. Okay, so we're going to download that for non-premium members, and we're going to save the file. Save it. I can put that in a directory later. Okay, so we have that leaf, and we're gonna want like a flower petal. So we should probably get our flower petal. Let's see which one would be good for that. Oh, I'm also gonna download this one. Seems like a good one. Yeah. I'm trying to record this at a resolution of 1280 by 720 pixels. So that's smaller than my actual screen. My actual screen is 1280 by 1024, I think. Yeah. So this might seem kind of small. Alright. If we go to flowers. Okay, yep. Here we have some stuff. Good. I'm going to create a red flower. This probably isn't even a real plant that I'm going to create, but whatever. Alright, let's download that. Okay. And we're good. So, alright, let's go into our UV editing tab here. By the way, if you're a beginner, this tutorial, you should probably check out some different tutorials, because this isn't really a beginner tutorial, or the way I'm talking, it isn't. So we're going to go to image, open image, and we're going to go into textures, and view like that. Let's add this one first. Right, so we're going to go into top view, tab, and then U to unwrap it. That'll give us this box pretty much. So, well, we don't want that. So I can go to U and project from view. Now, if I project it from the view that I'm currently in, that's from the top view. And it'll be the same proportions on here. So that's pretty useful. Scale it. Hit G. Scale it on the x-axis. Alright, let's put it there. We don't want it. We don't want this part down here. to be showing because we want the leaf to kind of stick out of a plant. So that's good. And we're going to go to default, and in our texture here, we can just select that image, the leaves, whatever it's called, leaves a bunch of numbers, and we're going to go into mapping, our mapping tab, set that to UV, because we UV unwrapped it, and we're going to hit UV map, and if I actually go into display, and textured solid, you can see that we have our texture on it. So that might not look too good, so I'm going to scale on the x-axis a little bit like that. That looks good. Alright, and so now, F12, yep, that is not see-through, not alpha. Pre-multiplied. Oh, yeah, sorry. So for the transparency, we're going to hit transparency here, turn the alpha all the way down to 0, right? And I think we need a specularity. We don't need specularity. And we're going to hit, in the influence, we're going to hit alpha here, okay? So now if we look, here we have it, yeah, alpha. And it doesn't seem like there's anything there, so that's good. Alright. So, I'm going to model the leaf so that it actually looks like it's coming from the plant. This is going to be like one of those plants that the flower just comes up like a stem, but all the leaves are at the bottom. So let's do this. We're going to hit Control R to create a loop cut. Use the middle mouse scroll wheel to create more. I'll just create that many. And hit 0 to center them. And so we're going to turn on proportional editing. Proportional editing mode allows transforms with distance fall off. I just read that there. And oops. It's better to have your cursor in the center. You can actually turn that off in the add-on, not in the add-ons, but in the user preferences. That when you left click, your mouse cursor moves, but I turned it off, and then then I upgraded Blender. Alright, so we're going to use the scroll wheel to change the amount of influence where the influence is, and I'd say that's okay. Yeah, it looks good. Looks pretty good. But it is very blocky, so I'm going to do that again. Control R, then create a bunch of loop cuts. Hit 0. I'm not sure this is the best way to do this, but that's the way I'm going to do it. Oh, yeah, I need to turn proportional editing on. And the whole leaf. Alright. Hit smooth. And that should do it. I'm going to go into shading, smooth. Alright. So, now that we have that, we can actually make these leaves. We can make these leaves kind of go in a circle around each other, like around the center. So right here would be the center. I'm going to go in the top view first and switch that to orthographic view so that I can actually see. And turn off proportional editing for now so that it is good. Alright. So I'm going to hit G. That seems good. G on the y-axis, so it's right above this right here, the object center. Alright. So we're going to add a modifier, an array modifier. Alright. So instead of relative offset, we're going to check object offset, and we're going to add an empty. This will kind of control the location and rotation of all the different things that we're gonna, all the different leaves that we're gonna create with the array modifier. So I'm just gonna hit plain axis, and empty. We're going to hit empty in the object offset. So you can see that this looks really weird, and this is a problem that a lot of people have when they start using the array modifier to make plants like this. That is because we have not actually set the scale. Well, you're gonna hit Control A. Yeah, you haven't applied the scale. Apply the scale, and then Control A, apply the rotation. Now, what this does is our scale would have been at like something weird, like 2.4, whatever there. And so the modifier is using that to also it displaces it based on that, sort of. It's hard to explain. Yeah, so now if we create 3, they're all the same, and we want to rotate this. We're going to hit R, Z, rotate on the Z axis, Z, whatever you want to call it. And yeah, so now we can just add more of these. And we have this plant here. Now this is a very low poly plant, so if you want to use it in your game or something, so I'm not really making it like, I'm not really going to concentrate on a lot of the modeling, or like making the textures different. So I'm going into a new workspace, I guess that's, if you want to call it that, a new layer. So I'm going to add a cylinder, and we don't want this to be really high poly, just low poly thing, if you want to make a little plant. So I'm going to set that to, set it to 8, so I want this to be a detailed plant. Alright, so the cylinder is going to be our stem, and I'm going to add an array modifier to it. And this time we're going to use the relative offset, not the constant offset. So we're going to set this to 0, so it's not going to be duplicating along the X, but on the Z axis. Yeah, 1. And set that to 1. And we're going to, change the count. So I'll make the stem a little taller, but S.25. I'm gonna make the stem smaller because stems aren't very big usually. We're gonna move that to the first layer now, see how it looks. Alright, that's still a pretty big stem, so 0.5, scale it down. And we're gonna, let's make it like around this much is all we need. I'm gonna still scale it. Let's scale it, yeah. Like that. That is too low. 50. Alright, that looks good. So, here if you want to just leave this as is, like a fern, I'm going to go ahead and create a flower. I don't think this is a realistic plant at all, but, yeah. So, let's do this. I'm going to turn that into a sun lamp. Alright. So we're going to go into here. We're going to create a new material. And we're going to use this color for it. That's a good color for it. Right there. Yeah, it looks okay. We're going to set smooth shading. Oh wait, no, we do not want smooth shading for that. Just going to leave it as is, I guess. And we're going to create a little plant. So for this, I don't want to, well, I guess I do want to add a UV sphere for the top of the plant. Kind of scale it, 0.5 is good, I think. Yeah, that should be good. And view right. I'm in orthographic view, so I can do that easily. Alright, X, vertices, delete the vertices, and So okay, we can't really give it a render. Alright, and that we're gonna make it yellow. Make a new texture, make it yellow. I don't think we should have specularity for it. I'm actually just gonna switch this to GLSL shading. So you can see when I switch it to GLSL, the texture works on it, because GLSL shading allows you to incorporate real textures into the game engine. So this is kind of for a game, if you want to make a game. Alright, also this shouldn't be shooting straight up, but I'm going to keep it like that until the end. Alright, so we're going to add a new plane, and this plane will be one of the flower petals. So we're going to go into the UV editing tab, hit tab, and we're going to open an image. So we want to get the flower petal, right? So we're going to get this one, the red flower petal, and actually looks pretty good if I just leave it like that as is. Alright, so even if we did unwrap it, you can't see it. That's because we haven't assigned it to a material. So like we did before, we're going to hit new material and new. So we're going to create an image or movie. We're going to go into here so you can quickly select our image, this one, and we're going to use alpha. We're going to make it so this affects the alpha, and we're going to set the transparency, the alpha, to 0. So that now we have that. Alright. So, oops. Now we want it to kind of come out of here. So I'm going to go into edit mode and move it so that well then, I've never had that happen to me before. Okay, yeah, it was just a blender thing. Probably from the GLSL shading. Okay, so that comes out of the center, kind of. I'm going to scale it. Well, we don't want it to come out of the center. Actually, we want it to come out of right here where the flower is going to be. So like that. And like that. Alright. So, now we can go and add a modifier. Add an array modifier. Uncheck relative offset. And check object offset. And I don't think we can use the empty that we're using here. No, I don't think we should. Oh yeah, and we're going to see right here how the scale is at 0.193, and the rotation is the same. But so we're gonna hit Control A, then scale, and alright, and we're going to count 4. We don't want to make it that empty. We're gonna add another empty. Plane axis, and whoops. Space, snap cursor to center. So we're going to add an empty again in the center. This is why it's useful to have your cursor in the center, because if you build stuff on the center, it's just a lot easier. Alright, and now we're going to set this to empty 001. And we're going to rotate this on the z-axis. That looks really bad, doesn't it? Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Wow, that was a fail. Alright, I'm going to have to look into that, but that doesn't mean it's the end of the world, because I can still fix it. If we go into our UV editing, And I've never had this happen to me before, actually. So you'll learn with me, which is a good thing, I guess. Go into textured mode, textured view mode. Well, maybe this is something with GLSL shading. I don't think so, actually, but let's just try. Let's go into a multi-texture. Alright, yeah, that works. That works. Okay. So if we go into multi-texture, you can see it looks good. So we're going to go into our empty, hit default. Alright, so it's just a GLSL shading. It doesn't like that. So, alright. I don't think we should add more flower petals than we can. I'm gonna turn the rotation down. So it's, yeah, about there. And let's see what our rotation is actually. We want to make it so everything's level, and see, let's make it back to 0 again, actually, so we can start over with the petals. Rotate Z, and alright, now we're going to add some more petals. And it looks better than, yeah, better than nothing. Alright, so I'm going to angle them up, kind of, and, oops, we're going to make it so this right here is even with that. So, now, if we go, view camera, and we bring it up here, what? Okay, that's weird. I don't see why that is messed up. I will have to look into that. Wow. Alright, this is embarrassing. Learn with me. I'm gonna go back into the UV editing, see what I can do here. Okay. This thing came back to haunt me. Alright. So now if we look at our flower petals, we have that, but, that's weird. I'll have to look into that. That is very weird. Oh, that's because you have it on generated. Yep, that is a fail. We need to have it on UV. UV, okay. See, you learned from me. That was a big fail, wasn't it? That was a big fail. Yeah. So I will, yeah. Alright. And I don't think we need specularity for this. If we hit F12, we have that kind of looking good. We're gonna A, we're gonna hit G. So these are kind of closer inwards. And we can, I guess we can add more. See how that looks. No, that looks completely fake. Alright, that looks okay. So I guess for a game, this isn't for a render at all. Just saying. Just for a game, I'd say this looks okay. We're gonna set that to smooth. See what that does. Yeah, set it to flat again. So yeah. we can also add this. So we're gonna add a curve, make this curve. If you want to make your flower, yeah. So RY 90. Scale. Alright, so we can actually make this curve right here since we added our curve, and we can hit the we can select this, the stem, and add a curve modifier, object NURBS path. I don't know how to say that. Alright, so if we have it like that, we're going to also select our flowers and our empties. And just going to put it there. Wow, this is actually hard to place. I could use the Boolean modifier, I guess, but alright. I think that looks good. Except for this. Right here. Make that a little bit more even. Yep. View camera. Alright. So there you have a simple flower. Yeah, so if you want to render this differently, I didn't use any compositing nodes, but yeah, sure you can make it look really good if you do that. So yeah, thanks for watching, and subscribe and like for more tutorials. Also, you can post in the comments what you liked or didn't like about it, or what I should do differently next time. Thank you for watching.